but a nightmare for many others. It needs to be added, I suppose.
Absolutely. And he says now that Europe has been given the tools it needs to, I suppose, make political decisions, will it use them? That's the question he ends with. Now, we'll look at the International Herald Tribune, and they have an article, on Javier Solana, who stepped down yesterday. He was replaced by Catherine Ashton as the head of the European diplomatic corps.
Well, he's been in office for the best part of a decade, right?
Yes,
Javier Solana.
Since 1999, he was
as EU Foreign Policy Chief.
Exactly, High Commissioner for Common Foreign and Security Policy, and he never hid his ambition actually to be the first foreign minister, but that didn't happen because of politics and horse trading and all of that. And so he said that he was proud nonetheless to have played the role he played, that there's no doubt we've established Europe as a political reference point, he said. And when asked about the ambitions of France, Germany and Britain to have a sort of an independent foreign policy role, he said, look, it's not realistic in this day and age. He said it's really a fantasy to think that you can play in this world of today without being part of this bigger element of Europe. So very much a Europhile. And he said it's not a sentimental question. There was a rationality of stability before, now it's a rationality of survival, I suppose, with the bigger players on the international stage.
All right, if we take a look at the next story, the row over Swiss minarets is still ongoing, very much so.
It's still ongoing. We have a cartoon in the International Herald Tribune showing that calling to prayer is what one person is asking, and no, it's a call to hatred, the other person replies. If we have a look at the Tribune de Genève, Geneva-based paper, they're speaking about shock around the world, in the Arab and Muslim world in particular. It was on the front pages, a lot of the papers in the Muslim world. The Grand Mufti of Cairo called it an insult. They also speak about the reaction in France, a very confused reaction in the UMP party. Apparently, Xavier Bertrand said, are minarets really necessary? He's the spokesman of the UMP party. But then Bernard Kouchner said he was shocked by the decision. So there's been a lot of ambiguity by the French ruling party. If we move to Le Temps, which is another Geneva-based paper, their editorial says that direct democracy was never intended for this. It was never intended to be a dustbin for people's emotions, it says, and that really questions such as this shouldn't be put to the people because it only inflames passions. Now, the Times of Oman says that the minarets are possibly now going to be opposed in the Netherlands too. Is it going to lead to a landslide of measures such as this? The far-right Freedom Party, led by Geert Wilders, has called for similar referendums, so they're somewhat concerned about that.
So very much the sense that this could be the lead-up to something bigger or other votes in other countries.
Exactly, that it could sort of have a domino effect. Now, let's move to the front page of The Independent, where you have Robert Cohen. He's a Holocaust survivor who gave evidence yesterday at the trial of Demjan Juk in Munich, one of the last trials, I suppose, really of a collaborator of the Nazi regime. And you can see the tattoo there from the Auschwitz camp. This is my duty to my parents, to my brothers, and the millions of those murdered.
And this, of course, comes during a row whether or not Demjan Juk is too old and too frail to perhaps stand trial, but the victims, as you say, they're sort of saying, look, it doesn't matter how old he is, he needs to face justice.
To face justice, exactly. But inside, we have that point of view being expressed by David Cesarini. He's a professor at the University of London, and he says, really, there's what court with an ounce of humanity, he says, would send an ailing nonagenarian to jail. Now, he's 89 years of age, but if the trial goes as far as April of next year, he will be 90. And he says, really, even if there's a heavy sentence handed down, there's an element of inhumanity in that. And if the sentence is just a sort of mild one, people will ask the question, well, what's the point? So he's wondering, is it really a trial too far?
Well, I think they've limited proceedings, right, per day to not more than 90 minutes, just because he is so old and because of his age.
And he has to be wheeled in, apparently, according to those images. So certainly an element of controversy surrounding that. And another controversy in the Hamburger Morgenpost, Skandal-rocker, they're saying, and that's referring to Pete Doherty, who this weekend was at a concert, a radio concert of some type in Munich, in the same city, and sang the wrong words of the German national anthem. He sang Deutschland, Deutschland über alles, Germany above everything, and that was actually the Nazi national anthem. Now, he maintains that he just got mixed up, but the concert was cancelled. He was told to leave the stage. Germans were not amused at all by this blunder, and yes, that's led to a lot of controversy in the Hamburger Morgenpost, where some people are understanding this. It's a rock festival. Things like this happen. It was a mistake, and he has in fact apologised for that. But the words that he should have uttered were unity and justice and freedom for the German fatherland, not Germany above all. So
right,
there you go.
Pete Doherty back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons once again. Thanks very much, James Creedon, for that press review. You're watching France 24. It's time now for a reminder of our